Welcome. I have with me R.J. Tersey of the Exile Brewing Company in downtown Des Moines. It's a brewing company and a restaurant. Welcome.
Thank you.
It's great to have you. Now, there's
Happy to be here.
There's no doubt about it. Craft beer has really hit its stride in Des Moines. There are a lot of places doing it, and you've got a very appreciative audience.
Yeah.
But I recently heard that the food, wine, and travel expert at Zester Daily have ranked America's 10 best-selling new craft beers.
Yes.
And Exile, it was based on supermarket sales. Des Moines' Exile Brewing Company came in at number 5 on the list.
Yeah, we were absolutely thrilled when we saw that. I mean, considering everything that's happening in the craft beer market right now with the growth that it's experiencing, all the new places opening up, we were really pretty amazed at it, especially because Des Moines was one of the smallest markets on that list. You know, most of the other places, they were either from California, one of them was from Cincinnati, you know, a couple out of Washington and Oregon, and then there was us out of Des Moines. So that was really great to see that, for sure.
That's just like one more evidence, some more evidence that Des Moines is just like really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, that's the way I look at it too. I agree.
Amazing.
I agree 100%. Yeah.
That's great.
But yeah, it was great. I mean, it has a lot to do with, you know, our great local retailers here that are supporting local products, and then, you know, obviously the consumers here in Des Moines are ready to get behind a local product, and so, you know, the proof is in the pudding right there.
That's great. That's super. So, you know, let's taste through a couple of these and we'll talk about what craft beer is all about.
Let's do it. Let's do it. The first beer that I have here is Ruthie. This is our gold lager. This is our most popular beer that we have. So a lot of that IRR supermarket data that they use to track, you know, the 10 best-selling new craft beers in America was based on this beer right here. So
terrific.
Got Ruthie going there. So this beer is a gold lager, like I was saying. So as far as being like a real crafty craft beer, it's not that. It's definitely not that. What this beer is this is a great converter beer for people who are used to drinking, you know, some of those more macro styles. You know, they might not be ready for that big IPA or that really wild sour beer. This is a great beer for those people to start off drinking to kind of move them towards, you know, better flavors, more interesting stuff than what they might be used to.
That's very interesting. So
yeah,
this is baby
cheers.
steps.
Yeah, absolutely. This is baby steps right here.
Oh, that's very nice.
Yeah, but I mean, it is baby steps, but also at the end of the day, you know, on Sunday I was watching Game of Thrones, eating pizza, and drinking Ruthie.
Yeah, well, no,
it was exactly what I wanted.
This is so different than the gold lagers. I mean, it's actually a pretty significant. It's a 2-year-old step, not a toddler step. This is not an infant step. This is wonderful.
Thank you.
So different than what you normally would drink in a gold lager.
Thank you. Yeah, so this was one of the beers that we were making right off the bat. As soon as we opened up, and it's, you know, it's been with us since then. So, and
it's a good seller. People really like it.
It is a good seller. You know, like I said, it is that good converter beer, but also the Ruthie story people really like.
Yeah, we were going to talk maybe a little bit about Ruthie. The glass. I don't know if you can see it on the glass here, where you've got, you know, the woman who was able to serve beer on her shelf.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. So Ruthie was I don't know if she was a Des Moines native, but she certainly made a name for herself here in Des Moines. She had a bar called Ruthie's Place up on Keogh, but she worked at some other local bars in the area before then, and she had this talent. She was, you know, she was infamous for it. She would put the glasses on her shelf, as you so eloquently put it, and pour the beer into the glasses and serve them up to the patrons that way.
My goodness. So wow.
Yeah, she made a living, you know, off of her tips doing that. So.
Good for her. So
yeah,
paying homage to Ruthie. I love it.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Okay. So we'll just get started with our next beer here. This is Hannah. This is our Bavarian style wheat beer. So this is going to be a lot different than that Ruthie we just had. So whereas Ruthie, you know, is using Munich malts, you know, and some lighter malts, this is using a lot of wheat. And now this, I like this opportunity. There's yeast at the bottom of this because it's a completely unfiltered beer, unpasteurized. So there's yeast at the bottom of that. So what we like people to do swirl it around just like that at the end.
So you want the yeast, and it's not like when you decant wine and you want to leave all the tannins and all those clumps in the bottom. You want that in there.
You want that yeast.
Okay.
Yep, absolutely. You want that yeast. You can see it kind of changes the color a little bit. It adds to the body, certainly. And I don't know if I'll get in trouble for saying this, but there are rumors that it could potentially be healthy.
Which is why we drink beer.
Right, exactly. There's lots of vitamins in that yeast. So yeah, there's also that benefit as well.
Well, that's really interesting. I would just imagine it adds complexity and everything to it.
Yep, it absolutely does.
And, you know, so let's talk just a moment about, you know, we get a lot of words that are bandied about in the food world right now. We talk about artisanal, we talk about, you know, farm to table. There are just certain words you hear all the time: chef-driven restaurants, sustainable food. I think craft beer is another one of those words that people hear all the time, and I'm not sure if they know exactly what that means.
Yeah.
So can you help us?
I mean, there is a technical definition for it. You know, it's any brewer making less than X amount of barrels. It kind of changes a little bit because some of these guys are growing so much at this point. They're making less than X amount of barrels, you know, using malt, hops, water, and yeast. Really, what a craft brewer is, though, is anyone who, you know, in my opinion, is really taking a large amount of pride in their beer, you know, crafting it themselves, creating it themselves in an artistic way. You know, because a lot of these other real large breweries, you know, they do make perfect beers scientifically, but they do lose a lot of their artistic input into it, and they lose the craft of it, really.
There you go. Oh, that's a good definition. Let's have a taste of this.
Absolutely.
Wow.
So extremely different.
Oh yeah, and really refreshing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you know, I'm shocked at how refreshing that is, because sometimes when you think of something that's really complex and something that has a lot of stuff in it, you don't think it's going to be that refreshing.
Yeah.
I hate to rush us. We don't have much time, but I have to taste
Let's
this.
taste the sour beer.
This is the new one, right?
Yep, let's get this sour beer going here. We are extremely excited about releasing this Beatnik Sour into 6-packs pretty soon here. I believe we're actually going to be bottling it at the beginning of next week.
All right.
So this is really, this is a new beer for us.
Yeah.
This was not one of our staples. The Beatnik Sour is made a completely different way. We actually let the beer sour in the brew house, so it literally spoils for a bit.
Okay.
There's bacteria that grows in it for a bit. That's what gives it its sour flavors. It's what drops the pH so much. But then we obviously boil it. We kill all of that bacteria, let it ferment out, and we're left with this, you know, really complex, extremely refreshing sour beer. So don't trust your first sip. You got to try it twice.
All right.
Yeah.
You know, this is going to be great in summer.
We're excited for it, yeah.
Because, you know, when you think about things that taste good when you're thirsty and hot, it's always something with a little bit of sour in it.
Yep.
This is going to be terrific, and it should be available this summer.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean,
in a matter of weeks, you'll be seeing it in grocery stores. The 6-pack will look just like that right
that's
there.
Excellent. So,
yep, we're excited.
All right. Well, we've run out of time, but great to know you can get these at lots of local supermarkets.
Absolutely, yeah.
And go to Exile, because you have a restaurant as well.
Yep,
and
for sure.
People enjoy these beers with some great beer-friendly food.
That's right. Yep, we're hoping to have a lot of people drinking sour beer this summer on the patio.
I think on the patio, this is going to taste mighty fine. So cheers again, and thank you for coming in.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Thank you.